Let's move on now to the Western Conference. And we're going to start in the Central Division with the Dallas Stars and Winnipeg Jets. It's kind of a miracle that the Stars and Jets are playing each other. If you watch those last two game sevens, those were some of the best. That's some of the best hockey you're going to watch. Mikko Rantanen knocking out his former team with a heroic effort in the third period, down 2-0. And then the Jets scoring with 1.6 seconds left on the clock to force overtime before Adam Lowry won it for them in double OT. So I can't even believe that it's Stars Jets in this round. The Stars are minus 172 favorites at Pinnacle. Before we dig into who we like in this series, just some news and notes to pass along. Jason Robertson and Miro Heiskanen. According to Peter DeBoer, we will see them in this series. We just don't know exactly when they'll be back. And then on the Jets side of things, Mark Scheifele's banged up. He missed game 6 and 7 against the Blues, and Josh Morrissey left game 7 with an upper body injury. So we don't quite know the status of those guys yet. So let's start with Ben in this one. Ben, who do you like, Stars and Jets?
So much like the two series in the East, we have a team that does not have home ice advantage laying quite a big number here. In this one too, I lean Stars. I don't have a pick myself on winner here. To me, it's a battle of who gets healthier sooner. The Stars, and which is why I would give the edge to the Stars based on what we're seeing now. I think the forward depth for them is still better than the forward depth for Winnipeg when it comes to scoring. Winnipeg missing Scheifele. The center down the middle for them is just so thin. Like Nemestikov, I like how he played. I watched a lot of him in the last series. Lowry, I love as a captain too, but in the top six when you need him to produce offense, I don't know if he's that guy. I don't think without Scheifele, again, he could be back in game 2. Winnipeg will have enough to expose the Dallas defense, and then we could get Heiskanen back any day, and that changes everything in that defense where they can have one of him or Harley out there at all times pretty much. So, and then we can go to the goalies. It's the two best American goalies in the league, Jake Ottinger and Connor Hellebuck. I have to give the edge to Ottinger here too. Just he's done it, at least getting to conference finals, almost getting to a cup final last year. He hasn't been the reason his team has lost. Maybe Hellebuck found something in that third period in overtime last night. He looked strong. He was getting out in front of his net, getting bigger. I don't know why it took him almost 7 games to kind of figure that out. But for me here, yeah, based on what we have, the information, the status of players, I have to lead Dallas, but it's their first time getting or in a playoff series, I think, since 2023 or 2022, where they haven't had home ice advantage. So that's another variable too. And Winnipeg won all their home games against St. Louis. So it's clearly a big advantage for them. Hence why I can't place a bet on Dallas at this price. So it'd be a lean, but too many unknowns for me to place a ticket on this one.
Yeah, that Winnipeg whiteout is absolutely electric. Who is not electric is Connor Hellebuck, who is going to win the Vezina, might win the Hart Trophy, and then was dead last among all goalies in round 1 in goals saved above expected. And now this is the third year in a row where it's like, what the hell happened to Connor Hellebuck? He goes from being the best goalie in the league in the regular season to the worst goalie in the league, apparently, in the playoffs. So we'll see who shows up here in round 2. But Scott, where are you leaning in this series between the Stars and Jets?
Well, I'm leaning to the Stars, but I mean all the points that Ben makes are valid, and I think the thing that I can't kind of wrap my head around is Hellebuck. That he's been the best goalie in the league by a substantial margin for the past 2 years, and then in the playoffs he just falls flat. And after the first couple of games against St. Louis, it looked like he was okay, and then they went to St. Louis and got the doors blown off him, and all of a sudden all those past demons kind of came back, and it's really hard to have confidence in a Jets team because the Jets, even at their very best, they really depend on Hellebuck to be this great backstop for them. And if he's not, well, then they become a much more mediocre team. And you put that up against the Stars team that managed to take out Colorado. Obviously, you and I thought very highly of Colorado coming into the playoffs, and that they did it without Jason Robertson, a point-per-game winger, and without Miro Heiskanen, their number one defenseman. If those guys are back, I think the Stars have a decided advantage, even if Scheifele and Morrissey return for the Jets here. So I'll take the Stars at the price. I know it's probably a touch high, but I'm pretty optimistic about what Dallas has done, and they have the depth that should be able to push them through. Like getting Tyler Seguin back late in the season helps. You know guys like Seguin and Ben in supporting roles for the Stars. You know that gives them some real value, because you know if you got Ranton and then Hintz kind of driving it at the top of the lineup, it's nice to have those veteran guys who have been through a few wars there to contribute as well. So I'm going to lean to the Stars here. I'll even take them at -172.
I'm not going to lie. I'm still rattled that my Stanley Cup pick and Scott's Stanley Cup pick is out in round one. Like I said, the only favorite to lose in a very chalky first round of the playoffs. Yeah, it's incredible what the Stars pulled off without Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson. But I am also leaning towards the Dallas Stars, and I actually think there might be a little bit of value on them at -172, especially if Heiskanen and Robertson come back. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're not back in game one. You know, maybe it takes a couple of games, but if those guys get healthy and the Jets are still banged up, if they're still without their number one center in Mark Scheifele, their number one defenseman in Josh Morrissey, that's going to obviously be a major issue. Whereas we saw the Stars overcome that with two of their top players. I think the Stars are arguably the deepest team in the NHL, especially at full health. Like, you go up and down that roster, it is such a deep team. And obviously they were able to get by the Stanley Cup favorites in the Colorado Avalanche. So when you look at, I always like looking at the 5-on-5 numbers throughout the course of the season. Like, the Jets were a better 5-on-5 team than Dallas. So, I mean, you could look at that and say, like, that's where they have a little bit of the edge. But like I said, I think maybe some of these numbers are maybe a little bit misleading with the Stars, just because I think they are so deep. And if they get healthy, this team's going to be a problem. I mean, they are not priced as the Stanley Cup favorites at Pinnacle. That still belongs to the Florida Panthers at the time of recording. But the Stars right now, +500. I mean, doesn't look too bad. But I'm going to be rolling with the Dallas Stars in this series. I am also concerned about Connor Hellebuck. He just has not looked good at all. Maybe, as Ben said, maybe he discovered something in the third period and in overtime in Game 7 against St. Louis. But I'm going to roll with the Dallas Stars here, and I will also lay the -172. I think if this team gets fully healthy, watch out. They could easily win the Stanley Cup.